very excited that you have decided to become certified fraud examiner. And I am here to help you submit your CFE exam application in the correct way. I've been working with the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners over the last 12 years, and I helped more than 4,000 delegates study and pass the CFE exam, and I can help you as well preparing for your CFE exam application and submitting all the proper information and supporting documents. So this video, the objective of it is to understand what are the requirements when you are submitting your CFE exam application and what are the documents that you need to submit to ACFE to make sure you get your application approved from the first time. So let's get started. This is the process. First, you need to go, if this is the first time you are logging into ACFE website, you need to go and reset your password. So if you have never logged into ACFE platform before, you need to go and say, I forgot my password, enter your email that you register with for the course, and then you will get an email saying, here's an email to reset your password. In case you don't get it, check your spam folder, then you can reset your password. After you reset your password, you can log into ACFE, and then you can apply for the CFE exam. So for you to go and apply for the CFE exam, you need to click on a quick task, and then you need to click on apply for the CFE exam, as you can see it here. Then you have the CFE exam application, and you can click start the CFE exam application. So to apply for the CFE exam, there are two steps. The first one is completing the online pre-qualification. And the next step is uploading the supporting documents. So we have two steps we need to go over. So let's go over the first step. The first step, they are going to say you need to start the pre-qualification stage, where they are going to ask you basic information to be able to see if you qualify to become certified fraud examiner or not. So what are the questions they are going to ask you? The first one, they are going to ask you what is your age. So they want to know exactly your age, your demographics. So you need to complete that. The next, they are going to ask you how many years of education you have, how many years of experience you have. So someone always will call me and ask me, Iyad, I don't have any fraud experience. What should I do here? No, they are not asking you how many fraud experience you have. No, they are asking you, if you see, how many years of fraud related experience. So if you are in internal audit, you have fraud related experience. If you are in compliance, you have fraud related experience. If you are working in accounting, in finance, you have fraud-related experience. Even if you are working in other positions, like if you are a manager related to anti-money laundering in a bank, you are working in financial crimes, you are working as an HR manager handling issues related to fraud, so you have fraud-related experience. So here you list your fraud-related experience. We are not speaking about fraud experience. And you list all the other information for us to see if you qualified or not. Then the next stage, they are going to ask you certain questions. These questions are not so critical. They are just trying to understand what you do. How many fraud cases you handled. They are not saying how many fraud cases you did. Maybe how many fraud cases you were involved in, you supported, how many articles you published. These are not critical for them to qualify you or disqualify you. Just for them, they would like to understand exactly what kind of work you have done related to anti-fraud. So you can complete these questions easily and quickly. But the very important questions that you need to complete are these three questions. They are going to ask you, are you criminal? Have you committed any act, illegal act? Did you go to prison? So in that way, if you ask any of these questions, yes, definitely you are not qualified, because ACFE, they don't accept any convicted criminals to become certified fraud examiners or any individuals who committed any illegal act. So this is where you need to answer these questions in the proper way, and you need to make sure that you answer these questions correctly, where you are going to say no, no, no to any of these questions. Now next, after you complete this, you are going to get certain questions related to, are you accepting the terms and conditions related to proctoring, that someone is going to actually monitor you when you are taking the exam? Are you going to accept all the terms related to the exam and the examination and the ACFE? You need to accept these terms for you to continue. So you say, yes, I accept this requirement, and then you continue. Now you finish the first stage, the pre-qualification stage. Once you completed the stage, the next stage is related to supporting your, submitting your supporting documents. So you need to make sure you are going to submit all the supporting documents properly. Otherwise, ACFE, they are going to come back and they are going to say, we are so sorry, your application is not approved, is under review because you are missing some supporting document. This is not a big deal. If you are missing supporting document, you need to just make sure you email them the supporting document, or you can go inside your application and you edit it and you can upload the supporting document. Someone will ask me a question, yeah, if I reach to this situation and I don't continue, can I come back to the same point? Yes, you can come back to the same point. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. If you reach to the stage and you can't continue for any reason, you don't have all the documents with you, you can stop, you can exit, you can log in again, go with the same step. You don't need to do the pre-qualification again. Khalas, it's done. You can just go here and you can get click on view or edit and you can upload the information or document that you need. So don't be scared if you don't have all the documentation with you. Now, what kind of documentation you need for you to submit your CFE exam application? You need 3. Number 1, proof of education. You need to submit proof of your education. If you say you have a bachelor degree, you need to submit a degree showing that you have that bachelor degree, or if you have a master degree, and you need to submit a transcript. We are going to come and speak about that later. Second, you need to submit a proof of experience. So proof of experience is very important, but you don't need a letter. You don't need a proof of experience as a document. You just need to submit a job description and job title. And when you started and until when, if you are still working, until now, you can say. They are not going to ask you for a letter, experience letter from your employer. No, you just need to put job description. So no need for any kind of letter or any kind of proof. You just need to write it down. And finally, you need to provide 3 recommendations from 3 co-workers. Don't send it to me. I'm not your coworker. It should be a current or previous coworker, or for an organization you work in. So it can't be maybe your customers or vendor. It should be your coworkers, someone you are working inside the organization. So let's go over them step by step and understand what are the requirements that you need to do to submit your CFE exam application. Requirement is going to be listed inside your CFE exam application, and you can come at any time and you can edit it, you can view it, you can add, you can remove any information. In case ACFE said some information is missing or some information need additional elaboration, you can go here and you can click on it and you can change it. But you need to make sure that you submit all the proper information. So what here you need to submit? You need to submit your experience, yes. You need to submit your education, yes. However, for your designation, for your certificate is optional, is not mandatory. So many individuals say, yeah, I don't have any certificates. This is my first certificate, no issue. This section here is optional. If you want to complete it and you have certificates, you can. If you don't want to complete it, it's okay. You don't have to. And finally, you can actually go and complete the section related to the recommendation. So let's go over them step by step. Step number 1. You need to list your experience. For your experience, you need to have your job title. You need to have the length of your experience. You need to have the detail and description about your job, including fraud-related tasks, which is very important. And you need to say the percentage of fraud-related experience. So what's the meaning of that? If you are submitting your application and you are in internal audit, it's very important to list the tasks related to fraud that you do. For example, you help the organization in the fraud risk assessment. That's important. For example, you evaluate the fraud risk management processes inside the organization. You work with the investigation team during investigation. You conduct interview with the cooperative witnesses to collect information related to investigation. You assess in collecting information and analyzing the data during investigation. So it's very important for you to list all the fraud-related tasks, around 6 or 7 that you do. Otherwise, your application may be rejected, or ACFE will come back to you and say, sorry, you need to elaborate more about the fraud-related experience that you have. If you work in compliance, the same thing. You need to say what kind of experience you have. If you work as a bank manager and you handle issues related to fraud, you need to list issues related to reviewing financial transactions to ensure there are no unusual activity, evaluating any indicator of money laundering, reviewing any fraudulent transaction. So whatever job you do, if you have fraud-related experience, for you to be able to get your application approved, you need to list this experience in the proper way under your job description. No need to provide a letter from your employer saying that this is what happened, but it should match with your actual job. It should match with your LinkedIn. Whatever you mentioned on your LinkedIn, it should be the same. So make sure, in case you list your fraud-related experience, but in LinkedIn is not listed, I recommend you to go and update your LinkedIn account, because ACFE, they are going to check to see that what you are saying is reflecting your job. And I'm sure it's reflecting what you are doing, but just we need to make sure it's clear. that, okay, if you work in internal audit, these are the tasks you do. If you work in fraud examination, these are the tasks you do. So in that way, ACFE will understand what are the fraud-related experience that you have when they are reviewing your CFE exam application. And of course, don't lie and say you have fraud-related experience if you don't have. But most likely, if you are taking this certificate and you already working in fraud-related job, you are going to be qualified, and you need to, what's important is to list these job-related experience. Now, the second thing, which is very important, is putting the percentages. And this is where so many students, they are confused. They say, oh, okay, I work in auditing, I will have 100% auditing. No. Like we discussed, you work in auditing, but you have maybe 50% in auditing and 50% in this fraud-related experience. So I always recommend you, if you work in fraud, you can say you are doing forensic accounting, or you do fraud-related experience 100%. But if you work in other domain that's not directly fraud, like internal audit, like compliance, internal control, finance, accounting, money laundering, what you can say, for example, 50% auditing, 50% fraud-related experience. Or you can say, for example, 50% you work in law profession, you work in accounting, you work in finance, and 50% fraud-related experience. Because like what we said, definitely you have fraud-related experience. So you need to mention that and show them and highlight them. So the total should be 100%. But please don't say, okay, 5% auditing, 3% financial accounting, or 10%. No, don't try to confuse them and confuse yourself. Make it easy. If you work in a fraud domain directly, 100% fraud related. If it's not, you put maybe percentage, 50% auditing, 50% fraud related, or 50% any other task that you do. Just make it easy and simple for them to see that at least 50% of your work, or whatever percentage is based on your actual work, is related to fraud. So in that way, your application approval will be simple and easy. The next step after you submit your experience is you need to provide proof of education. For proof of education, you need to provide one of two things. You need to provide your diploma. You need to provide it in English. In case it's not in English, you need to translate it to English and you need to submit it. You can use Google Translate. You can translate it. You don't need official translation from official center. No, you can take it. You can do it Google Translation and submit the original and the translation to ACFE. In case you don't have the diploma for any reason, you can look at the transcript. You can submit the transcript. You need to submit which university you are in and how many years you studied in that university. Because you need to make sure that you have at least a bachelor degree with 4 years of education. In case you are submitting, or if you have 3 years, you need to have enough work experience to compensate for that. So make sure you submit it in the proper way. Anyway, if you are submitting any of these applications and you have any questions or any concern, you can always reach out to me to help you in understanding what are the documents needed, what need to be supported. But I created this video with the main purpose that I am giving you all the information that you need to submit your exam application in a simple and easy way, so you don't have to come back to me and ask me more questions and clarification. But I'm more than happy to answer you in case you have anything that's not clear. Now, finally, what you need to do, you need to submit your recommendations. Like we said, submitting professional affiliation and certification are optional, so I'm not going to go over it. If you have certification, if you have CIA, if you have CMA, if you have any other certificate, you can go here and submit it. But it's optional, it's not mandatory. If you want, you can do it. But you can skip that. You can go to what we call recommendations. So what are the recommendations? Recommendation is not a special letter that your employer should write for you, no. In a recommendation, on ACFE website, there is a form. It's a PDF file. You will download it and you will give it to 3 co-workers for them to complete it. So it should be a co-worker in your current organization or your previous organization. And it can be any co-worker. There's no need for them to be CFE. It can be a person in HR, your friend working inside the organization, your boss. It can be someone in finance, in IT, anyone. They can complete this form to say that they recommend you to take the CFE exam. And you need 3 recommendations. You have 2 options. You can download it as a PDF file and then you can scan it with his signature. Very important to have his signature. Don't forget the signature. And don't forget the date. So in that way, date and signatures are very important. Then you can upload it, but make sure you upload 3 recommendations. Don't go upload them all in one file and say, here are the 3 recommendations, because you need to create a recommendation for each one and you need to insert their information. Or you can do it online, but I don't recommend that. They say this is the preferred format. I don't recommend it. Why? Because with online, you need to put the email of the person, then you need to call him, say, send you something. Can you reply to me? Sometimes they are busy, sometimes they don't see it, sometimes it will go to their spam, so it will delay the process. The easiest way, print 3 forms, go to your coworkers, make them sign it, upload them, and finish. So these are the 2 ways for you to submit recommendations. But you need 3 recommendations. Like we said, recommendation is a file available on ACFE website inside the CFE exam application. You just need to download it, insert your information, insert their information, and make them sign. No need for them to write anything for you. It's not like, we recommend you to take this certificate because the best certificate. No need. They just say, okay, we sign, we recommend you, done. And then you can upload them. So these are the steps for you to upload all of them. After that, once you have all of them done, you will see something here. Can you see here the green line? You can see that now the application is ready for you to submit. If in case you don't see this green line, the meaning that you don't have all the documents uploaded. Some of the supporting documents are missing. So once you have that green line, you can submit your CFE exam application, and ACFE will take between 3 to 5 business days for them to review your CFE exam application and then for them to approve your exam application. Once your exam application is approved, you can take your CFE exam. They are going to send you an email saying this is how you need to schedule your CFE exam, and then you can go and schedule your CFE exam with the eligibility code that you have, and you can take your CFE exam. Remember, when you get your CFE exam approved, that doesn't mean that now the 60 days started for you to take your CFE exam. No, it's just your CFE exam now is approved. Now you can at any time activate the eligibility. The minute you activate the eligibility, so don't go activate the eligibility when you get the approval, because the minute you activate the eligibility, 60 days will start to finish the CFE exam. So once you get the approval, just keep that email with you. Once you are ready to schedule your CFE exam, go to that eligibility approval email and activate your eligibility and schedule your exam. My recommendation when you are going to take the CFE exam, to take it in testing center. Don't take it over the internet, because you don't want any technical issue. Go take it in testing center. It will be easy and simple way for you to be able to pass the CFE exam without any technical headache. So make sure at the end, after you submit your CFE exam application, to look for any email will come back from ACFE. Maybe they will send you an email saying, we are sorry to inform you that we need additional information related to your education, related to your experience. In case you get that email, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. Just maybe for your experience, they want you to add more fraud-related tasks. So you need to rewrite your fraud-related task. Maybe for your education, they need you to provide them with a transcript or a degree, or some information is not clear. Or maybe for your recommendation, you forgot a signature or the date for one of the forms. So make sure you address any of these issues. But maybe they will send you an email saying, when we reviewed your application, we noticed that you don't have experience. You only have a university degree. So for you, you can, and you are qualified to take the exam, but you can't be certified unless you get the experience. No issue. You can say, yes, I agree with you. Please, I acknowledge your email and allow me to take the exam. So you can take the exam, pass the exam, and later you can get your years of experience in case you have no experience. So the objective of submitting the CFE exam application is to get the approval of ACFE for you to be able to go and schedule your exam and take the exam. And then after you pass the exam, in case you are missing any documentation, any experience, you can submit them later to ACFE to get the actual certificate. So I hope that this video helped you understand all the concepts related to how can you submit your CFE exam application in a very simple and effective way. And in case you have any questions, you can always reach out to me and I will help you in understanding any kind of issues in submitting the CFE exam application. I wish you the best. We already been working with ACFE for the last 12 years, more than 4,000 CFE exam, more than 4,000 CFE professional passed the exam with us, and we are here to help you and support you in the same way to become certified fraud examiner. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best in your exam.